Welcome back, shark fans. So, for most people, the idea of great white sharks being present in British waters is no less improbable than finding a Loch Ness monster. However, most people don't know that great whites occur only a short distance from Britain in the northern coast of the Bay of Biscay. Now, it's just about 250 miles away from Cornwall. I mean, 250 miles is nothing. I've travelled further than that for a date back in the day. As we know, great white sharks are capable of travelling huge distances. There's been over 100 reported sightings worth looking at, and Shark Trust chairman Richard Peirce has narrowed it down to about 70 to 80 of these are credible, following sort of further examination. So I've handpicked a few that I want to look at today. But like me, you might wonder how in 2021, how have we not discovered great whites if they're in our waters? The thriving New Zealand white shark population wasn't discovered till the mid to the end of the 1970s. So it's not a ridiculous idea that we may have great white sharks in these waters. Strap in, episode 4, great white sharks, British water sightings. Let's do it. Start your engines with the Blue Fox encounter. This is a pretty good one actually. So 24th of August 1999, a crew on board a fishing vessel called Blue Fox were releasing a taupe shark back into the water when they were investigated by a 4.5 metre large shark. The sharks that I dived with in Australia were 4 meters plus. It's quite a sight, to be fair. So the large shark passed the boat, rolled onto its side, and the crew on board were able to see the white underbelly, various other characteristics. Now this is where it gets interesting for this sighting. Okay, 2 people on board were angling journalists, believed to be well known in the shark fishing world. They'd seen plenty of porbeagles and shortfin Atlantic makos before. These are 2 sharks that are often seen and believed to be great whites. They were adamant it was neither of those. So additionally, Mike Turner, the skipper on board, used to run a fishing vessel out of South Africa, where we know great white sharks were until recently prevalent. He's seen plenty of great whites, and he was adamant again that this was a great white shark. I think he was quoted in saying, "I'd bet my house on it that was a great white." Mike, are you living in a tent these days? Credibility of this sighting was enhanced by 2 events that followed shortly after. So the 25th of August 99, the day after, same area, 2 men fishing for taupe on a boat called Blissful saw a large shark which they estimated to be as long as their boat, which was 17 foot long. It surfaced, bit the taupe they were hauling in half, and then disappeared. If you don't know, sharks are cannibals and will eat each other. So 2 weeks later, so September 99, lobster fishermen reported a large shark, estimated 4.5 meters, entangled in his netting off Tintagel Head, around about 12 miles from the Blue Fox sighting. The crew described the shark as slate grey, white underbelly, crescent shaped mouth with triangular teeth. Sound like anybody we know? Unfortunately, due to it not having any commercial value, they cut it loose and they didn't take any photos. I mean, if that happened in this age, I guarantee you that thing would be on Instagram before the boat had even returned. So there is that element to think of for future sightings. We're going retro on this one. July 1970, so 5 years before Jaws, angler John Reynolds was pulling in chum bags off the back of his boat on the south coast of Cornwall when a large predatory shark, estimated at 4 to 5 meters, popped its head up, hung about for 30 or so seconds before disappearing again. Now John gave an accurate description of what would be a great white shark. So worth noting though, and thank you to the subscriber that sent me his go-to home chum recipe, who lives in South Africa. So should I be chumming the waters in the not too distant future, I will be using that recipe. Cheers! So July 2002, off Cornwall's Quees Islands, a lobster fisherman observed a large, in his words, predatory shark breaching the water. Now, British waters, we do have various large sharks that will breach. You know, you've got the thresher sharks, you've got the basking sharks and the makos. However, when the fishermen returned, did a quick circle and went back, there was loads of blood in the area. There was bits of seal that had clearly been attacked by something. Now this leads me to think it was one of two things. We know we have orcas in our waters. Orcas are known to carry out breach-based attacks. However, great whites are the only shark who attack pinnipeds in this manner. So it was either an orca or a great white shark. Like I say, he was adamant it wasn't an orca. This one here is a real credible sighting. You probably heard it before, I've mentioned it before on the channel. However, let's do it. So, July 2003, in Ullapool, near the Summerals, Western Scotland, Dr. Simon Greenstreet, who is a marine biologist, see where I'm going with this, and his party of divers had just got back into their rigid inflatable boat when a large 4.6 metre shark showed itself, surfaced, began to sort of drive towards the boat with a purpose, nudging the boat. Now, obviously, Dr. Simon Greenstreet is a marine biologist. He was able, as was the others on board, who were all experienced divers, be able to rule out basking shark straight away. He was able to describe not only the dorsal fin shape, he was able to mark where the apexes were, where the insertion points were, as well as the gill size, scars, the build of the shark, you know, real credible information. Mr. Peirce from the Sharks Trust believes that Dr. Greenstreet and his party of divers saw a great white shark in Scotland in 2003. I think they did too. 2 weeks later, 15th of July 2003, Bremner encountered a large shark, they said 5 meters plus, entangled in their coding nets in Libster, northeast of Scotland's east coast. The shark was steely grey, white underbelly, unlike that of a basking shark. They ruled out the thresher because of its tail, they ruled out the porbeagle because of the size. Thankfully, the shark broke out of the net. Sharks are awesome, we should be conserving them, releasing them when we can if that ever happens. And this was possibly, in my opinion, a great white shark or a mako, undecided, but you know, that timing with the other one, you never know, do you? So in December 2003, George Brown, who was a 52-year-old commercial diver with 25 years experience, I believe he was checking some of the steel piles in a ferry pier, and when a 14-foot shark swam over him and circled before swimming off. There's no photos or anything. I mean, this was 2003. People didn't have GoPros like we do these days, but that being said, that was a large shark. Could it have been a basking shark? Possibly, but if you've had 25 years experience, you'd like to hope you knew the difference. Okay, in December 2003, I tell you, was a bloody busy year for sharks. Absolutely sightings galore. A 5.8 metre shark was caught in a fishing grate near Pentland, Firth, which is a channel between Orkney and the northeast coast of Scotland. The shark wasn't distressed, but was snapping at fish before working itself free. Nice one. Fishermen, which is interesting, never claimed it was a great white. They just knew it wasn't a basking shark. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm hoping you can help me with this. A photo was taken showing the shark that looked just like a great white. Now you'll notice I haven't overlaid this photo. I don't have it. At the time of editing, I did obtain the photo. It does show a dorsal fin and a tail tip with a noticeable notch, which is important when you look at great white. Dorsal fins, certainly comparing them to the other large sharks in our waters like the porgy and the mako and the basking shark, definitely not one of those fins. So there you go, observe the photo. I think it's a great white fin. However, it was sent to experts, as I'll explain now. Back to me. I will update you guys when I get the book, probably on Instagram. Okay, anyway, so Mr. Peirce, who has reviewed the photo, said he believes that if he'd posed the questions differently to experts, for example, not mentioning Scotland, then he believes this would have been the first confirmed great white in British waters because it was that accurate. July 2005, 3 kilometres south of Lockport, Scotland, fisherman was trolling for pollock when a large shark fitting the description of a great white surfaced next to the boat before disappearing. No photos. Never any photos when you want them. Okay, Scotland again. God damn you, Scotland, you're prolific on the white shark debate. A large shark was seen attacking a seal in the Outer Hebrides and the Sound of Harris. There's allegedly mobile phone footage of this. Now, by all accounts, it's not very good, but it does show a large predatory shark breaching. Again, I can't find it anywhere. I've exhausted Google. I've exhausted everything I can think of. If you've got it, ping it across, please. Now, the video was shown to shark experts Ian Ferguson, Leonardo Campagro, and both of those have come back with 60% chance it was a great white, 40% chance it was a short fin Atlantic mako. I mean, I believe the short fin Atlantic mako is the most dangerous known shark in our waters. So June 2003, yes, that magical year of sightings. 14-year-old girl using binoculars about 18 meters up a cliff, probably sort of up there height wise, said she saw a great white shark feeding on fish. Now this happened off Baggy Point near Croyd, North Devon. The shark was exhibiting indicative bite and spit technique, which is pretty much textbook for great whites. Nobody else did corroborate this. I guess the takeaway for this one is that, you know, it's great to see somebody so young taking an interest in reporting it. I mean, I've got a teenage nephew. I mean, I'll be honest, if Bigfoot came and sat next to him, the lad wouldn't even notice. He wouldn't notice. Okay, in March 2005, off the Durham coast, loads of seals washed up with bite marks. Same thing happened in May 2016, although it was porpoises. Now, these were fairly decomposed, so it could have been every crustacean in the sea might have had a crack at them. However, in May 2016, on the lifeboat slipway of Sheringham, Norfolk coast, a seal washed up. It was fresh, it showed no decomposition, so it couldn't blame it on that. With rather large bite marks, they were measured, they were analysed by 3 shark experts, Ian Ferguson, George Burgess, and a guy called Malcolm Francis. They confirmed that it was either a great white or a large mako, but just our luck, there was no bone fragments recovered, so not confirmed. There's been plenty of other reports between then and now of animals washing up. I mean, I've seen seals wash up on not this beach, but the next beach along where I live, with various marks on them. But if you want to know more about the sharks in our waters and you've not seen my last episode, check out episode 3, Sharks in Our Waters. So in August 2008, on the Kittiwake Oil platform, which is about 120 miles off the coast of Aberdeen, a large predatory shark was filmed circling around. Again, don't have this footage, love to see it if anyone's got it. Now, Doug Henson, who was a shark expert, did say he thought this was a great white shark. However, others believe it's a porbeagle. If I get hold of it, I'll put it on the channel. You guys can decide what you think it is. So a couple of sightings here from a few people, a couple of sandwiches, short picnic. So no date given for this one, but so off Toe and Head on a boat called the Benita Ann. Somebody took a photo, which is supposedly a great white shark. Now, there's no denying this is a great white shark. However, the weather report for that day was choppy seas, and the photo was glass smooth, calm water, taken with a telephoto lens. Now, I'm not a photographer, but anybody out there who uses a telephoto lens, certainly at sea in choppy waters, will struggle. It was spy hopping, which means it was sort of sitting in the water like that, its head out. Why was it doing that 30 meters away? White sharks are known to do this, but only when they're close to something. And I think the final nail in the coffin to this was that the harbour master was queried on it, and when he ran the log, the Benita Ann, which was the boat, had been sold to somebody in Scotland 15 years prior and had never returned to the area. So, I mean, this guy was clearly having a laugh, wasn't he? Nice try though. There was also Mensize Strait Beach near Anglesey, great white shark tooth supposedly washed up on the beach. Now, there's no denying it was a great white shark's tooth. However, the suspect hole drilled in the bottom, which would have meant it was a necklace at some point, kind of gave it away that it was either a necklace that had fallen in the sea and washed up, or someone was, again, trying it on. So, where are we going with this channel then? 2003, Richard Peirce, who I've mentioned several times already, undertook an expedition which took 13 days. They covered 100 kilometres of the south coast of England looking for great white sharks. Fortunately, they never found any. To my knowledge, nobody has ever attempted it since. I would like to do that. However, to do it properly, and I'll only do it if I'm doing it properly, needs to be a team behind me. Ideally, we need the right equipment, from sonar stuff to the right technology. I've already got an underwater drone, which is epic. We need all the cameras. We possibly need a cage rig. The dive gear, I can dive, it's not a problem. But I think there's a phrase, find the seals, you'll find the sharks. I would start my search in Scotland, the western coast. Got to remember, Scotland has the largest seal colony in Europe. Plenty for the great whites to eat there. Why haven't we seen them? Well, got to remember the eastern Atlantic great white sharks is only estimated to be a few hundred. So can you imagine, it's very vast out here anyway. Now, is it safe to swim in our waters? Get this question all the time on my YouTube channel, and I have to say, absolutely. Now, I followed a guy called Ross Edgley who swam around Great Britain. It took him 5 months. He was in the water for something like 12 hours a day or something, 6 hours on, 6 hours off, and he didn't encounter anything other than a few jellyfish. He was a bit concerned swimming around Scotland because of the resident pod of orcas. I would love to see them in the wild. Maybe we would in this expedition if it goes that far. Got to remember, sharks, we're still learning about sharks. It was only a few years ago that somebody caught a salmon shark off the Isle of Wight. These sharks are known to reside in British Columbia or Alaska, very similar looking to a great white. Sharks are known to travel huge distances. We really don't know much about them. It's a misconception. Again, I get loads of comments about our waters are too cold for great whites. Great whites are only in tropical waters. If you look at where they are most prolific around the world, New Zealand, South Africa, a lot of those conditions mirror our conditions here. Now, I'll cover that in the next video. Yeah, it's been really great to get so many positive comments from all you guys. Especially I had a recent one from a retired marine biologist, which gave the channel a thumbs up. You've got to remember, I'm not a marine biologist. I'm not an expert, but I do class myself as a bit of an adventurer. I'm willing to get out there and explore the big blue behind me on my quest to see if they are here. Like I say, next video we'll focus on water temperatures, conditions, technology that we're going to use or can be used, and whatever else you guys want. Comment below, and thank you all for your great comments so far, and I shall see you in the next video on the Great White Shark series. Have a good week. Cheers.